Hello guys. Welcome. In this video, let's see how to reduce your cost while encryption is happening. So in order to reduce your cost while encryption is happening, so let's see how encryption is happening by using KMS. So how encryption is happening by using KMS? Let's see in this. Okay. Let's see how encryption happened by using KMS keys. So while encrypting, two keys will be generated. First one is plain text data key and second one is data encrypted data key. First one is what? Plain text data key and encrypted data key. So whenever client want to upload his object data to S3 bucket, then what happens is this S3 requires this KMS for keys. This S3 requires this KMS for keys. Now this KMS will generate data keys. What are those data keys? Plain data key, plain text data key, and encrypted data key. So how it generates is by using CMK only. What is the CMK, sir? The CMK is a customer managed keys, customer master keys. By using KMS uses this customer master key to generate this data keys. What are the two data keys you have? Plain text data key and encrypted data key. So now, whenever you uploaded your object, this S3 will first generate, first request this KMS, then this KMS will generate data keys by using CMK, customer master key. So what are the data keys generated? Plain text data key and encrypted data key. Now this KMS will send back those plain text data key and encrypted data key back to S3. Now whatever the object that is uploaded by the client and whatever the data keys that we get from KMS, those all will be combined with some encryption algorithm. So whatever the object that is uploaded by the client and whatever the plain text data key which was generated by KMS with some encrypted algorithm, they all are combined, and this bucket this bucket will create a encrypted object data. So by combining all this, an encrypted object data will be created. This plain text data key will encrypt this object data by using some encryption algorithm and generates an encrypted object data. Now, what are the things we have? Encrypted object data, which is generated by plain text key by using this object data with some encryption algorithm, and whatever the encrypted data key that we have. So we have those two things which are stored under S3, whereas this plain text data key will be deleted. So during encryption, what happens? Whenever client uploads an object to S3 bucket, this S3 bucket requests the KMS service. Now this KMS service will generate identical plain text key and plain text data key and encrypted data key. Now these two will be sent back to S3. At the S3, this plain text key, this plain text data key will encrypt whatever the object uploaded by the customer with some encrypted algorithm and generate encrypted object data. And now at final, whatever the encrypted data key and the generated encrypted object will be stored under S3, and the plain text key which generates this encrypted object data key, which generates this encrypted object data will be deleted. Now what do we have at S3? We have encrypted object data as well as an encrypted data key. Now let's say customer want to read. Now customer want to read object from the data. Customer want to read object data. Now customer requests what? S3. Then how this decryption happens? In order to provide the object back to client, this object must be decrypted, right? How the object will be in S3? Your object will be encrypted and associated with a encrypted data key. Now, in order to provide your object data to client, we need to decrypt, right? Yes. So first, this S3 encrypted data key will be sent to KMS. Now this KMS, what it will do is, it will combine this encrypted data key with CMK. The CMK will generate the plain text key. The CMK will generate the plain text key by using certain encryption algorithm at encrypted data key. So let's say this KMS, the CMK generated the plain text key by using this encrypted data key with some algorithm. Now the generated plain text key will send back to S3. Now what happens at S3? The plain text key will combine with this encrypted object data key and decrypt whatever the encrypted object data we have with some decryption algorithm, and it will generate the object data. Finally, the plain text key will be removed, and whatever the generated object data will be sent back to the client. So in this way, naturally, the encryption and decryption happens with KMS managed keys. So now, in order to reduce the cost happened with this KMS management keys during this encryption, we use bucket keys. So what is this bucket keys and how it will happen? Let's see. So first we need to generate a bucket CMK key. So how to generate this bucket key? So in order to generate, first we need to enable this bucket key at your bucket. So first we need to open our S3 bucket and we need to enable server side encryption KMS bucket key. So let's say I enabled the server side encryption KMS bucket key at my S3 bucket. Now what happens is, whenever you enable that, your bucket will request KMS to generate some bucket key. So whenever your bucket requests KMS to generate some bucket key, then the CMK, customer master key, will generate some bucket key. Then it will be sent back to S3. Now whatever the bucket key received to S3, that will be associated with whatever the bucket requested for that key. Now your bucket having your bucket key. Now let's see how encryption happens with this bucket key and how decryption happens with this bucket key. So whenever user uploaded an object to S3 bucket, now at that time what happens? Since this bucket only having the bucket key, this bucket key will generate the plain text data key as well as encrypted data key. So both plain text data key and encrypted data key we are generating at S3 bucket itself. So this, whatever the bucket key associated with the bucket, that will generate this plain text data key and encrypted data key. Now since you uploaded an object, right? Yeah. So that object will be encrypted with some algorithm by using this plain text key. So after the encryption happens at this object by using this plain text data key with some encryption algorithm, this will create an encrypted object data. this will create an encrypted object data. Now, this encrypted object data as well as whatever the encrypted data key we have, those two saved in a bucket. And whatever the plain text key that was generated will be deleted. Now, in this way, the encryption happens and your encrypted object data will be saved in your bucket where your encrypted object data even associated with encrypted data key. Now, let's see how decryption happens. So here you can see how decryption happens by using bucket keys. So whenever client requests for object which is present in S3 and which is encrypted by using bucket keys, what happens is, so since user is requesting for the object, now it will check for the object. How object will be stored? Object will be stored in this format, that is encrypted object data associated with encrypted data key. By using this encrypted data key, whatever the bucket key we have, that bucket key will generate the plain text data key. So now we have plain text data key. What happens is this plain text data key will generate your object data by using some algorithm on this encrypted object data. So this plain text data key will generate your object data by using some encryption algorithm on your encrypted object data. So you received the object data. Now again, your plain text key will be removed from your memory, that is deleted from your memory, and it saves you cost. So now what happens, sir? In both these process, while using encryption by using KMS keys and while encryption happens by using these bucket keys, what is the major difference happens and why do I need to prefer these bucket keys? So if you see this encryption or decryption happens by using this KMS, we are requesting KMS. That means many requests are going to KMS and many requests are coming back to S3. So for this, it charge, right? Yes. AWS will charge you for this. And coming to here, that is object keys. Coming to here, we are not sending traffic between S3 and KMS here. So since we are not sending any traffic between S3 and KMS, we are not charged for that. That means we are saving charge for that. We are just saving our bucket key directly with whatever the bucket we have. So since compared to KMS encryption by using KMS keys, by sending the traffic, this bucket associated with the bucket key will cost you less. So from this, we can able to conclude that this server side encryption using bucket keys reduce cost because it decrease number of times interaction with KMS. S3 and KMS interactions will be decreased, so it will reduce the cost. So this is how we can reduce cost by using bucket keys. So this is the best practice to reduce your cost while encrypting. Use the bucket keys.